One, two, 1, 2. Mic check. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 1, 2. Peace to everybody in the chat coming in. God Science, Sage, that crazy happy solar return. If y'all can hear me, let me know. Give me a one or something, please. Make sure I'm coming through. I appreciate y'all hitting that like button. All right, good, good. Thank you. Coming through. All right. Peace, Rita. Peace, Big Daddy. Peace, Poetic. I need to do this. I've been needing to make some more. Okay. Need to. Peace, y'all. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's get this thing going. This is in my typical fashion. This is, oh, let me get my camera going. All right. Typical fashion. I'm here impromptu, and this is not all scripted out, but I wanted to talk about the upcoming closure to this very eventful eclipse season, and which concludes with the solar eclipse. I think that's a partial solar eclipse on the 29th. Yeah, that's a partial eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries. So let's talk about this. So the title was, what did I get a title? Solar eclipse in Aries 2025, hidden jewels. So we got to lead up to this. So we'll start by looking at the 26th. So I'm going to work on getting this chart back up. And let's see. We're going to see what these hidden jewels are, what that's all about, and look at the energy leading up to this event. Thank y'all for coming in, hitting that like button. I appreciate it. Share the live. So let me get this thing going here. I'm on the wrong screen. Bear with me. Okay. It should be pulling it up now. This is the real time clock for March 25th, 1:16 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's what's going on in the sky right now. And so just looking at some of the things we got going here, we can see the drama developing. We got Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, the anaretic degree, and things are cooking. Get my little pen going here so I can write. Things are cooking. Look at this right here. Pisces. Now, one thing that I said in a blog earlier, I don't know if I did it, was it this year, beginning of this year, or the end of last year? I did a blog on the 2025 forecast. And I think regarding Neptune's ingress into Aries, I wrote, and I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm not even up to the 30th yet. But we're seeing the lead up to this. Involving Neptune and Aries, I wrote blurred lines, hyper influence, heightened sensitivity, delusional ego expression, personal mystical experiences, telepathy. So and this just a drop in the bucket describing the energy around Neptune and Aries. But blurred lines, hyperinfluence, heightened sensitivity, delusional ego expression, personal mystical experiences, telepathy. Ask yourself if you've experienced any of these things, especially not just now, but leading up. Are they starting to intensify? Having so-called mystical experiences, you know, blurred lines, people presenting themselves one way, but they're something else, like a mask. With, if I get back to my screen, with Neptune at 29 degrees, though, it has not made its ingress in the Aries, but we're already kind of feeling the build up towards a crescendo. But here at 29 degrees, the anaretic degree, this is like unfinished business being taken care of leading up to the stuff that I talked about. Now, where I'm going with this is it's going to be a little weird shift. But if you kind of been following social media, have you noticed the deaths? You know, we had Roy Ayers close to the last eclipse. We had Dwayne Higgins, somebody else transition. But so we had those types of transitions. But here lately, in just the past week, we've had more type of scandalous deaths. You know, we had here in Texas, in Houston, you got this rapper named Sauce Walker. Real name Albert. Albert Mundane. That's his real name. I think Sauce Walker is the greatest government agent, or one of the greatest government agents ever. I think he's a government agent. And everywhere he goes, that's death, you know. So he was just in Memphis with some kid that he supposedly signed. Everybody that with these, there's always some rapper comes with a record label, and the record label never does nothing. And you know, and these kids get pulled into these traps. They go and find these lower level kids, bring them in, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say these kids are brought in to be a sacrifice. There used to be a rapper around here in these parts named C Shrugs, real big fat dude, obese, you know, and I think he was from Ennis or somewhere like that. And all of a sudden, he gets linked up with Rick Ross. That boy was dead in within 6 months. The reason I'm bringing this up, and it's not just this boy Say So P with Sauce Walker. It's this another rapper from here in Dallas named Mo3 was really starting to blow up a few years ago. And he had a beef with some other little kid named Yellow Beezy. Well, Mo3 gets murdered somewhere back during COVID, somewhere back in there, 4 5 years ago. Well, all of a sudden, they go and arrest this little kid, Yellow Beezy, got him on murder charges. And see the theme here is there's death and all this. Well, some people say that this kid Mo 3 had just linked up with this. With y'all, a lot of y'all probably know who Lil Boosie is. And all of a sudden, after not too long after they really start linking up, he out of here. So it's all this stuff. Then you have these two young, one, I think one was a governor maybe, and one was a congresswoman. Two women in their 40s suddenly, you know, gone. All of this has happened within like the past week or so. And if y'all know some more, I know I'm missing some stuff. I've been seeing all types of stuff popping up, popping up, popping up. Then you know it's negative energy. And the only reason I've been kind of cataloging is because I'm trying to see astrologically. I'm thinking, what is happening in the sky that could be triggering this right now? And I think a lot of it has to do with Neptune at the anaretic degree of Pisces. So let's go back through our astrology 101. Let's go back to Isabel Hickey, her book, Astrology, a Cosmic Science. Okay. And she says, sixth house is service, 12th house is sacrifice. The natural sign that occupies the sixth house is Virgo. That's why we give Virgo the keywords I work. That's service. Well, the opposite is sacrifice. See, Virgo's I'm gonna give my work, and Pisces is I'm gonna give my whole self. Virgo is I gotta preserve myself so I can do the work. Pisces says I'm just gonna dissolve the whole ego altogether. Whereas Libra is open enemies, Pisces is hidden enemies. So if you combine those together, hidden enemies and sacrifice, and the fact that Pisces associated with the 12th house is also self-undoing, then we can see how maybe some people, maybe based on arrangements they've made, are facing periods of sacrifice. With that not coming, you know, some may have to give up their life. Some may have to give up their freedom because Neptune's at the anaretic degree of Pisces. From modern standards, the sign that it rules. So it is extra invigorated when it's in the sign it rules. And we got to understand, why does the grand man, why is it drawn? If you look at the old pictures, the grand man is drawn with the head here, the arms are back, he's bent at the waist, and the feet are back towards the head. So the feet is Pisces. Of course, this is Aries right here. So things coming full circle. But also things must be dissolved, Pisces, before a new seed, Aries, or a new baby, Aries, or a new head, Aries, can emerge. So business got to get finished up. The book's got to get closed. The previous chapter has to be wrapped up. from the standpoint of horticulture, well, let's say astro horticulture, the seed emerges in Aries. I have a seed and it goes through a journey, and this journey's private. It's private. And it's not until we get to Libra that the seed has now, it has become vital, invigorated. It's fruit. It has ripened. It's been harvested and it has been brought to the market. Now that seed is now something that is now ready to be shared in the first place of public interaction, the market, Libra. Put them on the scales. And then it goes to a whole nother journey because now there's been an exchange. Okay. And now there's a reception of other people's energy for the exchange of getting that seed. And now that seed, which has become like a crop, a commodity, now it's going through the public sphere. And the public sphere is really it going through its death. Okay. And by the time it gets to Capricorn, this is its funeral of the seed. Okay. When it gets to Aquarius, there is realization that maybe there's a future. And then by Pisces, the earth starts to heat up again, just slowly, just slightly, giving some indication of life. Pisces holds the power of death and resuscitation because Pisces is ending out the old cycle. It's the final death knell. But at the same time, the waters are changing. There's cold and warmer water mixing. So there's something going on where this seed that once was is being dissolved, but it's also being, there's all of the makeup there to create a new one. So with Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, it is accelerating this process. And it is we're seeing in real time. This is a great time to study astrology, even through tragedy. In real time, scandals and all this, scandals are kind of like 12th and 8th house. Real time, we're seeing all this stuff bubble up, bubble up, bubble up, bubble up. And it's a lot to do with Neptune. Because in just a few days, Neptune's about to make a shift. But it's closing out an area here. And there's something here around karma. And not so much karma as in you were good, you were bad, and this what it's more so just basic physics. I throw a ball at the wall, it comes back. Now we're seeing the comeback, and now it's like, okay, the ball's coming back into the hands. Now what are you gonna do? You seen you seen the reaction to an action. Or we could say we're seeing the reaction to an action. And now we have the opportunity to start a new set of actions. Because as the ball hits the wall, comes back off, it hits the ground, and like this 29 degree is almost like we see the ball coming right at us, and it's like, okay, I gotta catch it. Then when I catch it, what I'm gonna do? What's the sign that is the epitome of action? Aries. What are you gonna do? There's a new seed forming, but it's being destroyed first. It's in the last phases of destruction, but it immediately will lead to a new one emerging. What will it be? What will it be? Okay. Now, let's see here. And there's so much to say about all of this. A lot of it I've been talking about. Um, you got to go back to 1862 to 1875 and look at that energy. But let's just look at the sky. Right now in the sky, we have a loose bowl. What's a bowl? Let's think about the shape of a bowl. That's the bowl. Okay. Now, this is not a evenly distributed bowl. Um, most of the energy in this bowl is really in this area right here. Okay. But let's just start with one thing at a time. A bowl is an energy that is Superman to the rescue. That's kind of the energy of the bowl. It drives us to respond to external stimuli. Something has happened. I'm needed. Where's my cape? Here I come. That's the bowl. Now, the concentration of that can be based on where's the bowl starting. Okay. This bowl is starting in Aquarius because no matter where you are right now, Pluto is the lead planet in the sky. So it's passion, you know, um, and we can say this Pluto has a lot to do as well with what we're seeing right now because Pluto deals with things that have been hidden. So we can say there might be some sacrifices going on, but also stuff coming out that's been hidden about folk coming out into the public. Aquarius. So I correct myself. Maybe, some of the indictments coming. Oh yeah, that's the thing with all the uh the podcasters who are basically federal agents who bring these dummies in who sit down and tell, yeah, man, we used to move like 35 keys. Yeah, man, I laid down about 15 people. These idiots for this thing called clout will come in, whether they're telling the truth or making it up, because conspiracy and RICO, your word is bond. You said you did it, you know? So they just had this roundup, supposedly, of these, I don't know, these different people, whatever. So that's Pluto and Aquarius. So we got this energy leading the sky of secrets, things coming out in the open, passion, deep dark involvements, control, crime, compulsivity. That's driving from the negative standpoint. But Pluto is also about deep diving into the subconscious mind. Okay. I mean, I've been having dreams. Some of my dreams have really been resonating with, you know, delving into my own subconscious, like, like things that are you may be afraid of. Pay attention to some of those things are coming up in your dreams because Pisces is associated with sleep. And then we have Pluto, that's the subconscious, So pay attention to that too. Like what's coming up. And so if it's coming up in your dreams and then within you, then collectively we're also experiencing that as well. So we got all these things happening right now, and it's like things are moving very, very fast. I'm trying to keep where else was I gonna go with this? So the bowl makes us feel the impetus to take action. If the bowl does not have an opposition, then the action can be misguided and we can just be running around like a chicken with our heads cut off. So we have a very loose opposition here between Mars and Pluto. And that opposition is that's a 12-degree orb, but it's I mean that's still enough to where they're close enough. I would call them an opposition. So one regard is good because we don't have complete mayhem. But on the other end, it's Mars and Pluto still in this dance that they've had going on of this opposition for quite some while, and that they're going to be ironing out up until I guess summertime, to where it is this strong energy of desire, and it can be ego, it can be misplaced anger. And this anger, we can be acting out something that's lying deep that we ain't really recognized yet. And it make us extra combative because we haven't had enough time to sit with, or haven't taken the time to sit with self and see what really is lurking down in those dark corners. And then it makes us lash out because this is a Mars that's debilitated in Cancer. So it's very combustive, which can be literal and metaphorical. So we still got that going on. I watch people, like I always say, highway is a great way to kind of measure the barometer. And, just the angst that is there. And I don't know if, let me see if Mars is out of bounds right now, because then that can also add to, let's see, I need to go to view chart page, and I need to see if Mars is out of bounds. Yep. And Mars is out of bounds right now. So I'm going to say this. This is almost as if we didn't have an opposition. It almost nullifies and negates the opposition between these two. They ground each other. It is better to have opposition than to not. You ever been in the gym and you thought you had the weight set at a certain, like you're on a weight stack and you thought you had it at a certain weight, and you go and apply the force relative to what you thought you had it at, but it was a lot lighter, and you just about tear your shoulder or some other muscle because you used too much force and the joint traveled too far. That's because you were expecting a certain amount of opposition and it wasn't there. So if in a bowl don't have another one to offset it, even if it's the tense nature of an opposition, it helps to ground it. Otherwise, the force of that planet is kind of like jerking on that machine and there was no resistance and you about tore something. This Mars out of bounds, although we has a loose opposition to Pluto, is still almost like ain't nothing there. It's a renegade. I'm gonna tell you, I know it's real because I've been feeling it. Really have to grab myself patience wise and have to really grab myself when people test me too. Not understanding that they're playing with you know combustive chemicals. You know, so that energy is definitely prevalent. Now it makes more sense with this Mars out of bounds. So disregard that shit I said about this opposition because that's pretty much out the window. This is renegade Mars, but we have to have the wherewithal to keep it under control. The stars impale, which means they run through us, but they don't compel. They don't make us do anything unless we allow ourselves to be automatons. Okay, so just a little public service announcement. Um, the entire zodiac too is here's what's difficult too. Mars is the agent of self because it initiates the self through Aries. And this zodiac is self focused. It is starts in Aquarius. And also, although Aquarius is public, it's the self side of the public. You understand them? Aquarius naturally occupies the 11th house, which is to the east of the meridian line. Anything to the east of the meridian line is me. Even if it's above, even if it's in the southeast, so south is up when you're looking at the chart. So if it's in the southeast, it's me with other people, but it's still me. It is how do those public relationships serve me? You understand? And then if it's below the line, that is directly me. This is me. So that means Aquarius, Pisces is public serving me. Aries, Taurus through Cancer, that's me. Because these are all private signs. Remember, these are the signs where the seed's developing before it even gets to the public. So the zodiac is very selfishly set up right now. Because in addition to it being relegated to the east, you got the planet that initiates the west, Venus, is in Aries. Venus in Aries, which I have, can make us sometimes selfish because the agent of relationship is serving me. Relationship serves me, Venus and Aries. Right? It also, though, on the flip side, what we have from a more, so I'm giving you the less evolved side of this zodiacal layout. The more evolved side is I am examining myself and I am becoming reacquainted with self love through examining myself. Because selflessness that goes overboard can become self sabotage. That's the 12th house again. I can't live my life in complete self sabotage, meaning I'm going to sacrifice my well being and maybe my people's my family's well being because I gotta do this and no, fuck that. See, that's just where the Venus and Aries can put a check to that because it reminds you of self love. So here we're seeing the spectrum. It's all about how you use it. It's all about how you use it. It's how you grow and mature to this walk. Venus and Aries is making us come back to see, are we too self-centered versus do we need to revisit what it means to have self-love? And that's how this chart, which is shifted to the east, can give us the opportunity to become reacquainted with ourselves. Or you can be a child and throw temper tantrums because you don't get your way. It's all about me. It's the choice. Combative for no reason. That's a choice. Or choose to self examine and grow because I'm focusing on me. while Chiron is in Aries. I'm focusing on me. I got to fix me. That's part of this opportunity. And then here goes Neptune in Pisces that's been helping us dissolve the old version of me so that a new one can. It's all been. Here you got at the end Aries, you got Chiron. At the beginning, you got Neptune. Ding, 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 ding. Helping to end an old cycle and give birth to a new one. But you got to change. You got to change. You can't bring, you know, you can't bring the same old clothes from last year to a new school year. You got to change. It ain't nobody else. It's you. It's me. Can't nobody else fix this for me. Can't nobody else fix nothing for you. You got to change you. You have to change you to change your situation. Neptune and Aries says you become the environment. Our responsibility for the environment that surrounds us, will become more heightened. We will become more responsibility for whatever environment we inhabit because Neptune is the collective unconscious and Aries is me. So it is what's my role in creating the environment. And another word for environment is collective unconscious. So there's a chance for healthy individuality. All right. This ain't even, I wouldn't even going into all this. This is, uh, so I haven't even gotten to, so let's get back on track here. Let's go to, and I'm not looking at the comments because I'm trying not to lose my train of thought, but I hope I'm making sense where I'm going with all this. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. We're gonna move. I didn't close the screen. All right. Something happened. I don't know. Uh, okay. I guess I'm back up. Okay. So let's walk forward to the 26th. The 26th, we see Venus is still applying to Neptune. And that conjunction, it's in an applying conjunction in this retrograde motion. And we basically still have this grand conjunction here because we have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Neptune, and Saturn, North Node. I mean, they're basically in a dual sign conjunction. So this is what the 26 gives us. So we got Venus is on right on the cusp of moving back into Pisces. This is a Venus that is in its detriment. Venus is naturally magnetic and it's learning to live in an electric world in Aries. And then when it moves back into Pisces the next day, it gets some relief because now it is back in magnetic love, loving, stimulated, creative, magical, mystical, love for the sake of love, Pisces, where it is exalted. But the warning here is Venus was supposed to have gotten a little something while that its first ingress in Aries. And it was supposed to have brought back a little different perspective, some nuance to where it is not completely seeing with rose colored glasses and you know being potentially victimized. Because yes, this is Pisces where it is exalted, but it's also conjoining Neptune, which can be great. That could be, we could be revisiting a miracle. And this is where I titled it Hidden Jewels. We may have missed some hidden jewels the first time they conjoined back in February. And we got a chance. Astrology always gives you a spectrum. It ain't never just one way. It's a spectrum. So there might be a chance to see a jewel that we missed. But on the flip side, we may get caught up in a fantasy world. And we got to be careful about that because we don't want the fantasy being so rich that it becomes the result is itself undoing. Although, see, it's this contradiction. I'm gonna contradict myself. Although Neptune and Pisces is saying that an old version of you must be undone. But it's a difference when the undoing is at a high octave versus at a low octave. I'd rather be undone by being on my path than being undone because I was misled down a path. You understand what I'm trying to say? So in the midst of all of that almost ethereal energy that we could be feeling. Like this could be a love interest that comes back, but we know it's toxic, but it's like, but it wasn't that bad. You know, it could be something like that. It could be money because Venus is love. It's also money. You know, we may be, doing something here and there and, oh man, I shouldn't have bought that. Oh man, I just now read the fine print and they said, you know, no money back, such and such and such and such. But it was, I got caught up in the, in the magic of the moment and I wasn't thinking. Because again, Venus is back in Pisces and also approaching, although they won't conjunct or they won't conjoin exactly, but they get awful close. Wait a minute, I'm wrong. They do conjoin. Venus is going to conjoin Saturn. So there's some type of reality check that comes after Venus conjoins the North Node, conjoins Neptune, then the North Node, then there's Saturn. If we are sober minded how we approach this, Saturn can come and help us create a foundation for the future. Although Saturn struggles to create foundations in Pisces, but it ain't about the foundation we can see now. It's about the foundation we lay down and that we're going to see later. And so Venus coming back with Saturn can help with that by mitigating between the dream and the reality. If we handle it properly, Venus conjoining Neptune in the North Node again, meaning if we don't get caught up, because if we get caught up, we may have to go backwards in time to undo some shit, Saturn, and then try to get ourselves back on track. Am I making sense? I hope this making sense. What I'm trying to what I'm trying to convey here. Um Another thing to keep in mind in alignment with what I'm saying is that I'm basically saying some kind of way staying grounded. You know how hard that is right now? Because the only earth energy we have right now is Uranus in Taurus. And that's about as unstable as a 400-pound person sitting in a chair with three legs. You know, there's no earth. There's no earth energy. There's no natural grounding mechanisms. We even tried to find the grounding between the opposition between Mars and Scorpio. And even we came back and realized Mars is out of bounds. We don't have a whole lot of help here with grounding other than your own personal grounding. So we got to work to not get caught up. Don't get caught up. Boom, boom, boom. We already at the 27th. We got ingress, a miracle. We edited magical pathways. So I've been kind of leaning towards some of the. Well, I've been trying to be even-handed with things, but let's look at some of the potential magical things here. And we're gonna go to blue, so we get out of this red. Uh, all of this is in a trine to this to Mars down here. And although Mars is out of bounds, here's the flip side to everything I've been saying. Sometimes you need things to be a little bit tilted, you know? Um, and if passion can be channeled, it can be very powerful. Mars in Cancer is the equivalent of a mother is camping and a bear is threatening her children, and she goes and defends her children against the bear, and she wins because she pulls out something that she didn't even know was there based on her desire to protect her family, her little ones. The positive, if there's a positive to Mars and Cancer, it can invigorate us to fight for what we love for. I mean, fight for what we love. More so from the standpoint of family, fighting for your home, fighting for your lineage, fighting for your ancestors, fighting for your bloodline. That can be channeled. But how are you choosing to do it? That's the thing. So, and then we also have on the 27th, boom, boom, boom. What's that? Where is it at? Is Jupiter? Yeah. On the 27th, this is a fast moving transit because it's the moon. But here's something. No, 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 no. I'm wrong. Jupiter squaring the moon. Where is the moon? Oh, today. It's today. Today the moon is in a trine to Jupiter. That's just a sidebar. Fast moving, but it's a good day to be organizing things in your mental space. Maybe this would help to serve some of that. Um Now I want to jump forward to oh man, I'm missing the main thing here. Well, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's move. Let's go to the 28th, 29th. This is the day of the eclipse. Now Mercury is at 0 of Aries. And this can really make us cloudy in our judgment and thinking. We really get duped by the rose colored glasses. That's one side. But on the flip side, this is great if we can use this creativity. If you are a creator, which you are, because you were created from a creator to create, to be a creator, isn't that written in your law? I say, ye are gods. And to create is to act in divinity. This is a great opportunity here. So, and Mars is still pretty sharp in Aries. It's starting to pick up the influence of Neptune. And it's going to get worse on the 30th when it moves back into Pisces. But still, Mercury in Pisces, everything is all about how we use it. Yeah, it's debilitated in Pisces because it's hard to be rational and logical in Pisces, but it's also an opportunity to be creative. So you mitigate that by slowing down. Did I close the garage? Let me be intentional about watching myself close the garage. Because with this energy, I can lose track of time. I can literally lose things, misplace things, not be making sense. So let me be intentional about what I do, but at the same time, let me be intentional about being creative. Let me pay attention to everything let me pay attention to everything I'm seeing in my environment. It might be talking to me like even more than normal. I got an idea. Let me write that down. Let me put it in my phone. Let me go and paint. Let me go and sing. Let me go and play something on the piano. Let me sew something. I feel a little anxious. I'm gonna draw something. I haven't drawn anything, probably such and such. I'm gonna draw something today. How to utilize that energy, that creativity. So that's something to think about. Now, at this eclipse will happen at 5:58 a.m. Central Standard Time. And you'll see here it is. Uh the sun and moon at 9 degrees 0 minutes of Aries. Now, this is especially significant to you Aries suns. Shout out to my folk who are having their solar return. Because here your sun comes through. Right here, you represent birth. You represent birth. So here you early degree Aries, the sun comes through. It is in its exaltation. Because the sun says I was born to rise, I wasn't born to set. I had to learn to set. But rising is what I do. So it's in Aries rising. And then we have this eclipse that comes right after it. Now, eclipses are serious business, but I think this is an eclipse that I'm approaching with joy. This is a north node solar eclipse. You understand? North node. The sun represents vitality. The rays of the sun, the UV rays from the sun naturally create ozone. Ozone is heavy. It falls. And as it falls, it mixes with the pollutants in the air and cleanses the air. As it continues to fall and mixes with water vapor, it creates hydrogen peroxide, which furthermore cleanses the air. So, this renewed sunlight, we could look at it as a cleansing effect. Because if the sun has more vigor, this is why we have more flu and all this stuff in the colder months. This in the northern hemisphere, the sun is not as vigorous. As it warms up and regains its strength, it literally reinvigorates the air. The air is what? The breath, the breath of life. So I'm looking at this sun, which is starting a new cycle at the North Node, which means we're opening up a door. We're moving into a new path. So all of us are supposed to be taking on the mantle of Aries right now of, are you being courageous about how you moving into the next stage of your life? Are you taking accountability, personal accountability, so you can move boldly forward? Because if you're still trying to hold on and blame somebody and whatever, that's becoming baggage to hold you back. But if you're ready to throw off them fetters, that Pisces helps us throw off those fetters to release them chains. And then this eclipse is coming to say, here we go. We're moving into a new world, literally, not figuratively, literally. Because the very next day, no, hold on, I can't skip this. There's a resolution in the air right now, too. I want y'all to understand this shit. This is golden right here. Saturn is at 24 Pisces. Uranus is at 24 of Taurus. Now, they are both in areas that they don't particularly function well at. Saturn is trying to get his footing in Pisces, struggling. Uranus wants to be free. The earth compresses it. So this constant instability as it fights to get free and the earth, it compresses. Then this is earthquakes and tsunamis and, things like that, which can translate into our lives of just volcanic nature in the Taurus house in your chart or whatever. But either way, excuse me. Back in 2021, do y'all remember when Saturn was in Aquarius? And Saturn was forming a last quarter square to Taurus. They were squaring each other around 18, from 18, I think, to like 21 degrees. They kind of jumped back and forth squaring each other. Do y'all remember that? Last quarter square, so there's something trying to be figured out in the psyche. So you survived it. That was when all the COVID thing was still thick. You're here. And now we have a chance for resolution. We have a chance to work towards a resolution because those two that were squaring each other are now in a sextile. And Saturn has gone through its retrograde. Thank God. And so now they're in a sextile and they got a chance to figure out it's 60 degrees. So like, okay, how do we get along? Well, so Saturn's like, well, this was what the problem was. All I was trying to tell you was that maybe not yet. It wasn't time yet. And Uranus is like, well, I really don't like being constrained. After all, you did castrate me. So I got a reason to not trust you. You trying to hold me back. You always been trying to hold me back and prevent the future. Saturn. You're like, I understand. But I do have a job, and my job is to regulate time. And all I'm trying to do is say, now look, you think you fucked up? I'm fucked up too. I'm in Pisces. These motherfuckers ain't got no structure. I'm trying to find some structure. And Uranus like, ah, yeah. I'm in Taurus and everything want to be still, and I ain't with that shit. I'm trying to blow some shit up. It's like, well, how can we work together? Where it's like, okay, let's make a compromise. That time ain't now, Uranus. We ain't back then. What is it you wanted to do? Uranus is like, for real? For real? You want to know what I wanted to do? He was like, you remember when Star Trek came out and they said to boldly go where no man has gone before? That's what I want to do, motherfucker. I want to boldly go where no man has been before. I'm on my Captain Kirk shit. And Saturn's like, okay, well, let's start figuring out how we do it. We gotta pour, it's hard for me to pour a foundation now, but I can draw the plans up for the future. They are harmonizing now. And then they're going to harmonize into Aries and Gemini. All those Saturns is going to be for real debilitated. But, you know, he will be Saturn. It's going to be what it's going to be when he's in that sign. It's the energy is going to have to, it's going to be going to have to be a compromise. There's going to have to be a rapid maturity. But either way, from the standpoint of Saturn and Uranus, they ain't beefing. Do you remember what was going on in your life 4 years ago, 3 years ago, when they were beefing and how you had to act it out? Now they're at a point of, hey man, let's talk this out. Let's talk this out. I think that's something to feel hopeful about. And Saturn's approaching the North Node. So we got a chance to form something. And we're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to be patient. But that thing, it could be something big that's cooking. Because when they move into Aries and Gemini, they ain't hiding it in a feminine sign. It's time to come out with it. So guess what? I'm already talking to people who are facing these moments in their life. Well, I was talking to them 2 years ago and they talked about, I want to do this and I want to know such but then guess what? Now that shit coming up. Now they're being confronted with, now you got to act on what you manifested. Because this energy is hyper realization of manifestation. We get tricked a lot. Saturn is just as much of a trickster as Mercury from the standpoint of the rigor of time can trick you out of thinking that something, the seed you planted, actually is growing. I don't know who I was talking to. I was saying, can a 800-year-old tree, the trunk may be as wide as almost as half the width of this room. But at some point, it was just a little itty bitty seed. Who would have thought that that thing would just be just massive? You know, 7 foot wide base. Who would think? We think manifestation is about David Copperfield shit. And leave that to the people who think that's what it is. But from my standpoint, it is the realization that I'm a magical entity and being, even when I got shit piled up on me. That's true magic. You mean you still saw the finish line even with all that? Yeah. Yeah, some kind of way. I wanted to quit several times, but some kind of way I just knew that's the magic. So, all in all, as difficult as times may be, rejoice. Rejoice right now. Rejoice. Rejoice. If you got a vision, rejoice. If you know that you have been doing the work, what does that mean when people say that? Been doing the work. I ain't been running from truth. I have not been running from it. I have not. I have not. And it don't mean I've been perfect, but I may project here and there. I may not be on my game, but from pound for pound, I have not run from myself. I have not run from my ethics. I didn't sell my soul out. Then rejoice in the midst of rejoice because you're on the cusp. You're on the goddamn cusp. In spite of all the shit they be saying the world gonna fall next week. Whatever. I'm doing you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, that's how I'm feeling about this. That's how I'm feeling. In spite of, I feel invigorated, there's a new doorway open. I've even personally, I've been thinking more about and I know I've said this 10,000 times, but I got to be more. I gotta, I gotta, make myself more visible. I got something to say. I need to say things more often, you know? Um, Here we go with the 30th. The 30th, uh, let's see. Let's go to the clock. Then we'll animate it. Then we're gonna take it because 12, by this time on the 30th, Neptune has made its ingress. It actually makes its ingress at 12:52 p.m. Central Standard Time into Aries. And we'll come back and I'll talk about more specifically the health and wellness revolution that I don't think I know. It's already coming. It's been coming, but it's more actively emerging to counteract the other things I've been concerned about. For for to counteract the fact that I think sickness is I think we in for a serious round of something. But on the flip side, the things that are coming out that are available, it's it's almost unbelievable. And what we're doing, a lot of these things are not new. It's things reemerging that check this out. Things reemerging that came out the last time Neptune was in Aries. So I'll leave that teaser there. And, you know, let's see who's all. Let's see. Holiday. Let me see that. Lisa in the house. Peace. CRC. Peace. Uh, let's see. Tiffany, peace. Straight Panther in the house, peace. Um, let's see. We need to make whenever Straight Panther in the house. We need to make you a mod too. Um, uh, Mr. T, peace, and you're welcome. My man, BK Trainer, my fellow Aquarian in the house. What's up, good brother? Uh, I am she, peace. All right, so yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Plus, I gotta go anyway and do what I'm supposed to do. And I'm sure you know how it always go. I always say I do them, and I come back and be like, dang, I should have said this. I should have said that. Mm, I do. But that's enough for right now. But I hope for everyone a spirit of renewal and courage. I'm going to be putting up a new set of videos. I got them on TikTok, but I'm going to put them up over here. I wrote um, a short poem for every sun sign. So I guess before I go, I'll since it's Aries season, I'll read this for Aries. Uh, very quick. From the vast waters of chaos, I rise unified, traveling at the speed of light, sharp as the edge of the blacksmith's sword. Courageously, I move forward, boldly asserting my I am. Where there is darkness, I give spark to light. Where there is stagnation, I initiate action. It is I who breaks the hold of winter to give birth to spring. I am Aries. I'm Jamal Robinson, 720astrology.com. I appreciate your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, and go over and check out my website, 720astrology.com, for all of your astrological needs and learning tools. Know the stars and know yourself. Peace.